Good evening, guys. I'm Rylan Clark now, and welcome to the very first opportunity hour from the Prince's Trust. I just want to start by saying a massive thank you to everyone who was not only interested in this event in the run up, but has actually joined us this evening. We are very, very thrilled to have your company. So thank you so much. I'm going to be guiding you through the next hour of hopefully some great advice. And we are going to be speaking to some fantastic people. And tonight, it is all about advice, expert advice, I should say, to help finding you guys work. Now, throughout the show, we are going to hear how the Prince's Trust can support you. And a little later on, we're going to hear actually what's on offer, whether you're looking to build your confidence or you just need help finding a job. It could be that simple. We are here to help you this evening. Now, below, you are going to see some of the courses, only a couple at the moment, that are going to be coming up at the Prince's Trust. Now, that's going to help you find work. That's going to give you advice on confidence and boosting your morale, shall we say, in these difficult times. And we're going to talk these through a little bit later on. Now, you can visit the Prince's Trust website at any point you want to find out more. And if you are interested in a course, you can fill in the form on the support hub and the Trust will get back to you. But I should say, they will get back to you as quickly as possible, but it could take up to 5 working days. Don't judge us. There is a lot going on in the world. All right. There's a lot going on and that email inbox is buzzing, let me tell you. Now, as some of you will probably know, it is also LGBT plus History Month. And today really is about inspiring you guys. I'm a very proud member of that community, and what a community it is to be a part of. And tonight, hopefully we can all be our own little online community helping each other. I'm very pleased to say as well that Stonewall, LinkedIn, and the amazing comedian Suzi Ruffell are going to be giving their expert advice on how to find your true self and be your true self in the workplace, I should say. And more importantly, how to find the right employer for you, not always the other way around, as a lot of us do get stuck in thinking. So we want this to be as interactive as possible tonight. And I can already see the comments coming in. So a massive thank you to everyone who's commenting at the moment. We will try our hardest to get to as many of your questions that you've got for me and the guys you're going to be meeting very, very soon, or any advice we can give you. So keep those comments coming in. We are monitoring all of those. Now, the Trust is here the Trust is here to help you. So do not hesitate to get in touch. If you don't want to get in touch in the comment section, that's absolutely fine. You can get in touch with us via the website if you'd rather be a little bit more private. We do understand. So I think we should get on with the show. We have got a brilliant panel today. Where are you guys? Say hello. Give us a wave. There they are. There they are. We are going to be catching up with them three in just look at that. We've made you even bigger. What a time, eh? What a time. Look at those beautiful faces. We are going to be speaking to the guys very, very shortly. But before we officially meet all of them, let's hear from Reese, who has got his own story he wants to tell about finding work and the support he received from the Prince's Trust.
Hi, my name's Reese and I've been involved with the Prince's Trust for 5 years now. The Prince's Trust have helped me to no point that I can describe. They've been there for me in my highest times, but also there for me in my darkest times. After being unemployed for 1.5 years following the birth of my son, the Prince's Trust Get Into Hospitality course run alongside Green King encouraged me and showed me that I had the potential to get back into employment, which was really good because before I applied for the course, I'd applied for a job with ScotRail. After doing the course, it showed me that I was still capable to work and hold down a successful job. I started with ScotRail on the 10th of June 2019. I've now been here almost 2 years, and every day I come to my work, I come with a smile. I love my job, I love customer interaction, and I love every aspect that I get to do. I wouldn't have had the confidence to do this job if it wasn't for the Prince's Trust and their programmes showing me what I was capable of. When you get to your darkest points in life, it's very clouded and you don't know what you're capable of, and your capabilities lose your mind completely. But thanks to the Prince's Trust, they showed me what my capabilities were, they showed me what my strengths and weaknesses were, and I continue to work on both strengths and weaknesses to improve them both. Now, as I say, after nearly 2 years in this job, I'm thriving and there's potentially moving on within the company, and I continue to give back to the Prince's Trust as much as I can.
Well, massive thank you to Reese for sharing his story, and he joins us now along lovely Annie and Jay. Guys, thank you so much for being here this evening. It's a real pleasure to speak to you. Reese, let's start with you. We've just watched your video. Once again, thank you so much for sharing your story. Tell me a little bit more about your involvement with the Prince's Trust and how they helped you.
So my involvement with the Prince's Trust started back in 2014, straight after leaving school. Had no idea what the big bad world of careers was going to have for me. So turned to the Trust and completed a team programme, which is a 12-week programme involving team building, community challenges, a residential to make you aware of what your skills and your abilities are, and where they can be used in the world of work. Through that, I was offered a job within a care home, where I stayed for about a year and a half. After deciding that wasn't where I wanted my career to take me, I then moved into the transport industry, initially starting to work with passengers, and then moving to behind the scenes stuff, of being a cleaner at night on buses, and then coming back to join ScotRail nearly 2 years ago now, back to working with the public. If it wasn't for the Prince's Trust and showing me what I was capable of doing, I certainly wouldn't be here. As I said in the video, my son is now 3 years old last Wednesday, and after his birth, because I'd been unemployed for a bit before that, and then after it, I began to forget what I was capable of. Self-doubt crept in, and very, very dark thoughts had crept in as well. But getting back in touch with the Prince's Trust, for a third time at that point, the Prince's Trust will never turn you away from their door. So getting back in touch with them and saying, look, I need a bit of help again, they absolutely welcomed me with open arms and said, right, let's get you back to the best place you can be. And I can honestly, hand on heart, say if it wasn't for the Prince's Trust, I probably wouldn't be here at all today. But they showed me what life was worth and gave me a reason to keep going.
Wow, Reese, thank you so much for being so honest. I think, well, I'm just looking at some of the comments coming through, and I just think it's so honest, and it's so real that you're happy to share that story with us, and to know that the Prince's Trust is, I don't want to go as far as saving your life, but from what you're saying, it really, really has had a massive impact on your life.
Yeah, definitely. Again, like you, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say saving my life, but certainly giving me reasons to wake up each day and to keep trying, even when it does get hard. But realising that your goal is reachable at the end of that tunnel.
Absolutely. Reese, thank you so much for sharing your story. The comments section is going on. I can see Lisa Warburton's just put, Reese, you're an inspiration. Take that away from tonight, Reese. Absolutely. Annie, it's lovely to see you, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So lovely to have your company this evening. So Annie, tell me a little bit more about you, because I'm right in saying that you started your own business. You kicked all of that off. What's your involvement when the Prince's Trust?
So basically, I wanted to own a business from I was 19. I think I have authority issues, to be honest, and I wanted to be my own boss. But I honestly had absolutely no idea how to go about it. So I'll always say that I came to the trust with an idea on paper, and they made it a reality. You know, it's mate stays up baking all night, like, but you know, they helped me get there. But yeah, I am quite a bubbly person and a quite confident person, but I do suffer with a lot of anxiety. So I'll overthink. Like on my page, I wouldn't post as much because I'd be like, oh, I don't want to spam people and whatnot. But then at my business launch at the Prince's Trust, I've always been told that I'm quite annoying and, you know, why would she just shush? And my business mentor, Tony, said to me, you don't just have a business, you have a brand, and never change.
Absolutely.
And I'd never in my life been told that. And then see, once he said that, that was it. That was me posting. And
Listen, you are preaching to the converted. The amount of no's that I got before I finally got a yes, and the amount of people that would sit there and say to me, "Oh, here he is again," or "Oh, he's trying this now." It's even your family and friends, like they can be the ones that are the worst at it sometimes, thinking, "Oh, he's trying something new," or "Annie's trying something new. Just give it a rest. Go and work in a shop. Do this, do that." But you know what? It's so inspiring to know that the Prince's Trust were there and actually said to you, "No, do you know what, Annie? You're on the right track, babe. You carry on pushing."
yeah, I was told that I said that I wanted to have a shop, and I was told to set my sights a bit lower because I wouldn't make it. And I was told I would never sell anything on Facebook. The person that said that now works for me, and I'm sitting in my bakery. So,
I love that. I love that. I mean, we won't name check. We won't name and shame. But how's your luck? That's what you get. Annie, that's amazing. We're going to be catching up with you more in just a little while. But Jay, let's have a little chat with you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. You're good. So Jay, tell everyone a little bit about you. What's been your involvement with the Prince's Trust?
So about 4 years ago, I did Fairbridge program with the Prince's Trust. It was the week before I started it. I'd just come out of hospital. I was very unwell, and I was kind of forcefully pushed along into the Prince's Trust. But they helped me so much. I did one of the confidence boosting programs, and it absolutely changed my life. It gave me something to get out of bed to do every day, and gave me a reason to keep trying, keep pushing, and helped me get back into college and education, and then helped me get along to university where I'm at now.
Amazing. And Jay, I think you're the right person to ask for this. Obviously, you went on the confidence course to try and boost your confidence, but I'm sure the hardest part of that is having the confidence to go on the course and to make that initial step. You said you were pushed slightly, but thankfully.
Yeah, I was told, like, just try out the first day, see if you like it, and everyone there was so welcoming that I wanted to go back and I wanted to give it a proper go at it.
That's amazing. And do you know what's lovely as well? Obviously, speaking to the three of you and hearing the three of your stories, all very, very different. Reese wanted some guidance. Annie wanted, she had the idea in her head. She just needed someone to sit there and say, follow that dream and do it, and we will help you as much as we can. And then obviously, Jay, you needed the push to actually get to do it and have that confidence. And it's so lovely that the three of you have all got similar outcomes, but from three different avenues and three different streets that you will walk down. Do you know what? It's interesting to hear, and we are going to be catching up with you guys throughout the show this evening. And remember, to everyone watching, you're going to receive emails of, information to get in touch with the Prince's Trust. If anything here that you're hearing is resonating with you, you're obviously on this call for a reason, and you're obviously watching this for a reason. These guys were you. These guys were you sat there watching this live stream thinking, oh, I wish I had the guts to start my own business, or I wish I had the confidence to actually work on my confidence. They are you. And fingers crossed, this time next year I could be sitting here talking to you about the same success stories, shall we say. We're also going to be hearing from the lovely Matty at the Trust later on in the show. They're going to be talking about all the courses that we've got on offer, which you do not want to miss. Still to come, we are going to be hearing from LinkedIn and the lovely Suzi Ruffell. But first, as you guys know, finding the right employer is so important. LGBT charity Stonewall have done some great work in this area, and lovely Ruby is here to tell you more.
Hi everyone, my name's Ruby, my pronouns are they, them, and I work for Stonewall, Europe's largest LGBT rights charity. And today I'm here to talk about two things. Firstly, how to find an LGBT inclusive employer. And secondly, once you've found a job, how can you be yourself and advocate for yourself in the workplace? The first step, and it's a really simple one, is to look at an organisation's social media. Do they celebrate LGBT identities, not just during Pride, but on Trans Day of Visibility, LGBT History Month, Lesbian Day of Visibility? Do they also celebrate Black History Month, Mental Health Awareness Week? The best organisations won't just share statements or put out rainbow flag emojis. They'll also be running events, writing articles, sharing blogs. Essentially, engaging with and contributing to the conversation, rather than just using it to fill their own brand. The second thing that you can do is look at an organisation's website. This is where you really start to see if there's substance behind the statements. The best place to look is on an organisation's Equality, Diversity and Inclusion page, which normally sits under the About Us section of a website. This is where an organisation will tell you what they're doing to make their workplace more inclusive. It might include things like having LGBT staff network groups, or foundational policies like bullying, harassment and discrimination, dignity at work, or trans inclusion. It might also include an EDI strategy, which is really helpful because this is where they'll tell you not just what they've done in the past, but also what they're going to do in the future. So it can be really useful for accountability purposes. The third and final thing that I'd suggest you do when looking for an LGBT inclusive employer is looking at Stonewall's top 100 employers list. This is drawn from our Workplace Equality Index, through which we assess the LGBT inclusion work of hundreds of organisations across a really wide range of sectors, public, private and third. Even just taking part in the index indicates that an organisation is committed to embedding LGBT inclusion in a systematic way. So then, if you've already got a job, how can you be yourself and advocate for yourself in the workplace? I found this question much harder to answer because there's really no one-size-fits-all model. But there are a couple of things that I think stand regardless of your situation. The first is to know your rights. Lots of people don't know their rights in the workplace, but when you do know them, you can advocate for yourself and for others far more effectively. The best place to learn about your workplace rights is from the legislation itself. So the key piece here is the Equality Act. The second thing to remember is you don't have to go it alone. If your organisation has an LGBT network group, join it. Often you'll find that people have had similar experiences, so they can form a really important peer support function. Having a network group is also a really great way to organise collectively and push for change in your organisation that you might not be able to achieve on your own. If your organisation doesn't have an LGBT network group, you can look outside as well, again to organisations like LGBT Switchboard and Stonewall. Stonewall actually has a page on its website called What's in My Area, where you can find local LGBT community groups and organisations. That's it from me. Thanks very much for having me, and happy LGBT History Month.
A massive thank you to Ruby and everyone at Stonewall for the incredible work that you guys do. I've been lucky enough to be involved with you guys, and you really do some amazing stuff. So a massive thank you once again from all of us here. And what Ruby was just saying, it made me think, I'm know how lucky I am to be in a job that, one, I love, and two, that a little bit like what Anne was saying earlier, Anne was saying earlier that you can be your own boss to a certain extent. I suppose it's quite easy to say, but I don't ever feel like I'm not myself. I feel like I can be comfortable in my job, that I can be myself. Annie, you being the boss, shall we say, the boss of your world, do you feel that has a help or a hindrance on you being your authentic self at work?
No, actually, my staff went to bakery school with me, so they knew exactly what they were getting themselves in for. And they're not allowed to call me boss because I don't feel I'm better than anybody else. I just happen to own the stuff. So, no.
So you feel comfortable?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, amazing. We have Alexa on and we're dancing, and it's just fantastic. We have a great time. Everybody, my bakery is a safe place.
Perfect.
And staff come to me, they talk to me. I have no judgments. I never judge anybody, and it's a safe place. Always has been.
If only everyone was like you. If only everyone was like you, we'd live in a lovely world. Reese, let me come to you, because Annie, she does run her business, and like she says, I don't put myself on a pedestal. We're all very equal in my business, but I feel comfortable to be myself. You're not running your own business. You are working for an employer. How do you feel comfortable at work being you?
So sometimes it can be quite difficult, because as much as you can be yourself, you've got to remain professional, especially in the industry I work in front of passengers and other customers. But within the company itself, I feel absolutely included and valued, to the point where I'd raise questions with the company about things we could do for LGBT plus History Month. and have been invited onto a panel group and things to reevaluate what the company's values are around LGBT plus inclusion and around any inclusion. So I'm now a part of that, and we're trying to drill up events that we can do, whether that be virtually because of the current situation, or whether that be in person, depending on how it works with restrictions and things. So it's great to actually be invited to be involved and be a big part of what happens within the company.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. They sound great to work for. Jay, what advice and support have you had about finding the right employer? We know you had the help when it came down to your confidence, but what about when it came down to finding the right employer for you?
Well, I've only actually had 2 jobs, one of which was a very small pub job, and I did keep myself very under the radar there. And then at my most recent job, I was a cleaner, and I was one of 3 other trans people working there. So it was very, I knew from the get-go that it wasn't going to be an unsafe place.
Absolutely.
And the people I worked quite closely with were very chill, very nice, and my employer was very respectful, which I'm very grateful for.
Absolutely. That sounds lovely, especially that you can be around people that you feel like you've got something in common, and you, like you say, it felt like a safe space for you. And I think that's what resonates with a lot of people. I'm seeing a lot of comments coming in actually from someone who's trans saying, how do I feel, like how should I feel in this certain situation? And there's so many comments coming in. We are seeing these, guys, so please keep them coming in, because we will get to your comments very, very shortly. But before we do, I should tell you we're going to be hearing from the amazing Suzi Ruffell very, very soon. I've had the pleasure of working with her. She is such a love, and I can't wait to see what she has done for us. Probably a bit naughty, but who ain't? Let's be honest, who's not? But now a lot of us like to use LinkedIn when we want to feel a little bit professional. I even set one up for myself because I realized you can see who's been looking at yours and you're looking at them. And then Davina texts me going, did you look at my LinkedIn? I was like, oh my God, how do you know? I don't know how this works. So that's pretty much the reason why I did it. But they can help you connect with a potential employer. Now, Connor is joining us now. He's from LinkedIn. He's going to be explaining what they're doing as an employer to be more inclusive and why being more authentic makes you a better employee.
Hi everyone, thank you very much to Princess Trust for having me. My name is Connor Bolton. I am a Senior Brand Marketing Manager at LinkedIn. I wanted to start with a flashback to when I was 22 years old. I was graduated, fresh out of the closet, moving down to London to start my first professional job. It was a game changer for me. I had never been fully comfortable with my sexuality living up north, and moving down to London allowed me to, become a fully fledged, fabulous person within the LGBTQ plus community. However, this was completely at odds with what was going on in my professional life. Like 62% of millennials starting their first job, I'd gone back into the closet. Reason I did this was I felt that my sexuality would define me at work. I thought it would hinder my career progression. And the longer it went on, the deeper I went back into the closet, and the more and more unhappy I became at work. And this is why diversity and inclusion is so important into the world of work, because so many people have issues like this. You don't just stop being your fabulous gay self when you walk through the front door to your office. It's a key integral part of your identity. It's who you are. So, all that energy you've spent into hiding that integral part of yourself could be spent on being more productive, more creative, and ultimately more happy in your job. Like, you can't do your best work if you're not bringing your full, authentic self to work. So it's really, really important to remember that. So conversations and progress around diversity and inclusion in the world of work have increased massively over the past few years, which is great. However, it's really, really important to remember that it can't just be all talk in the boardroom or something only HR cares about. There needs to be tangible business action. And the business case for actioning diversity and inclusion has never been stronger. Research by Deloitte and McKinsey has shown that having a diverse workforce can increase innovation in business by 20%. It can improve financial returns by up to 15%. What's really important to remember is that your unique lived experience as a young LGBTQ plus person as value is powerful. It's not something you should hide at work, it's something you should champion, and it will ultimately make you more productive and successful in your job, and it will ultimately benefit your company as well. In terms of what LinkedIn is doing, so LinkedIn's vision is to create equitable economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce, irrespective of things like sexual or gender identity, race, age, or disability. We're also one of the founding members of Open for Business, which is a group of companies aiming to tackle anti-LGBTQ plus policies within business. We are also a huge social media platform with over 760 million members globally, and we're really committed to driving positive conversations for change. They're aiming to make the world of work a better, fairer, and more equitable place, and expect us to be doing a lot more work around this in the near future. Internally, we also have an amazing out-in employee resource group, which was set up to be a safe space for our LGBTQ plus employees, and also give them access to things like training, mentorship, and leadership programs, which allows them to take business cases to our senior leadership team, which ultimately led to a couple of promotions recently, which is, a really great example of putting inclusivity into practice. So something the Prince's Trust also asked me to have a think about was what would be my tips for a young LGBTQ plus person starting out in the world of work. For me, there are 4 key areas. So first one is research the company or employer. Use things like their website and their social media feed to figure out, are they really bought into diversity and inclusion? Is it in their mission and values, or do they just play lip service around Pride Month with a tweet on Pride Month? Also use tools like LinkedIn to connect with people who actually work there. Find out what the reality is actually working there, and does that match up with what they're saying externally on things like their website and social media. Second one is to always ask questions in your interview. Super important. Ask about the company culture, ask about their commitment to diversity and inclusion. If you don't get the answer you like, consider, will I actually be happy working there? You can always say no. You don't have to say yes, even if they offer you the job. Also, if you don't get the answer that you like, consider, is this something I want to help this business out with? If it's something you feel passionate about and something you think you could drive change in, that will also come across really, really well in your interview. Third, very aware of how awkward this can be, but it can be invaluable. Ask for an LGBTQ plus career mentor. Use network groups like LinkedIn or network groups like Out in Tech, Out in Finance to find people who you can have honest and frank conversations about your career with from an LGBTQ plus perspective. Fourth, finally, most important, be yourself. Do not waste your energy on a company or an employer where you feel like you could not be your full, authentic LGBTQ plus self. You will ultimately be a much happier person overall, and you'll also be a much more productive professional. Thank you very much. That's it from me, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for having me.
A massive thank you to Connor from LinkedIn. Very interesting and resonates quite a lot. I think we have seen over the last few years, business are really starting to look at diversity a lot more, and not just about sexuality or identity, but about many, many things. Reese, let me come to you. Do you think you're a better employee for a business when you're able to be your authentic self at work?
Absolutely. I think if you can be your true self, then the business they'll always know what they're going to get. They know there'll never be any falsehoods behind who you are as a person, which means how you work for them will also be really good and true to everything you say and do as well.
Absolutely. Annie, you, as I've said, you run your own business. I run my own business, I suppose you could say as well. And my selling point is me. And I also own businesses away from brand Rylan, shall we say, that aren't Rylan. They are businesses. But however, with that business, I need to sell myself into it. How much of yourself do you put into when it comes down to your business? Do you find it hard to blur the lines between personal and business?
No, I'm the same person, 100%. I have been to meetings where I'm laughing and joking, and I don't, I would never let anybody dull my sparkle. So if you don't want to work with me, you don't want to work with me.
I think we should just prescribe Annie in a jar to everyone watching. I think would just be great. If anyone's up for it, I mean, we'll sell it for a good price. Obviously, Annie, I know you're a businesswoman. Jay, let me come to you. You said, you're in a job now where you feel incredibly comfortable and you feel safe because of the experience that you've gone through as a person. How hard is it, do you think, to actually find a job that you can get that from?
I do think it's getting into work at the start can be quite daunting, especially as a trans person. You kind of have to weigh up the pros and cons of letting people know, especially early in transition. And it is a stressful one. And you kind of just, I would always see how people react in general before probably subtly saying, oh, hi, I'm trans. These are my pronouns. I'll give them some time to kind of scope out how I feel around them before going any further.
Absolutely. I mean, when we all met sort of 5-10 minutes before we came on air this evening, I've not met you guys properly. And the guys at the Prince's Trust said to me, do you want to get a bit of background on them? And, we'll tell you everything that they do. And I said, no, I don't. And the reason why I didn't want to know that is because I want to meet you, not a piece of paper that's telling me about you. And just then, during this conversation, while the VTs are on, the four of us that all you guys can see on screen, we have a little chat just to make sure everyone's happy and can hear everything. And I just messaged Jay and I said, Jay, sorry, can I just check? Did you say earlier you were trans? I don't know if I heard that wrong. And that's what I love about these type of conversations, because we don't care. Like it shouldn't matter. We're all just meeting each other and finding out about each other. And there are so many people that are commenting. And I must say to all of you watching, we are so grateful for all of your comments. Jay, I want to come to you on this one, actually, because of what you've been through. Connor Murphy has got in touch. Hi, Connor, and said, I'm always worried about my transition getting in the way of my future career. Any advice would be incredibly helpful. Jay, what would you say to Connor?
I would say have a very solid support system outside of work as well. Because if things are going well in career and work-wise, you always have these people you can go back to who can affirm that you are your true self and help you out with any, legal necessities around work, and just making you feel like you are who you say you are, regardless of what's going on in this workplace, and then boosting you up so that you can advocate for yourself and find advocacies elsewhere.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get to more of your questions very, very soon. And don't forget, if you are unemployed or struggling with confidence, we are here to help you. That is what we do. Look out for an email from the Trust later this week. It will be coming to you. Do not stress. Now, Matty from the Prince's Trust is going to be joining us very, very shortly. Very much looking forward to talking to them. But before that, it is time for a very inspiring film from the amazing comedian and podcaster and just all-round funny one, Suzi Ruffell.
Hello, I am Suzi Ruffell. I am a stand-up comedian and podcaster. I have a podcast called Like-Minded Friends, which is a podcast from me and Tom Allen, where we chat about life as queer people, LGBTQIA plus people, however you like to group us. And I also have a podcast called Out with Suzi Ruffell, which is a podcast about interviewing inspiring people from the queer community. Every part of the queer community I try to include. When I was younger, I wasn't very confident about who I was. I certainly wasn't confident about being a gay person in the world. And I wanted to create a podcast that maybe would reach out to people and let people know that they're not alone if they feel alone, because that's certainly how I felt. I didn't have much confidence as a teenager, certainly not when it came to my sexuality. I was confident in other ways, and I was good at showing off and pretending to be other people and trying to make people laugh, so it's not massively surprising I've become a stand-up. But when I think about myself as a gay person, I didn't come out until I was about 21, but I definitely knew that I was gay a lot younger than that. And I I didn't feel I could be myself. I was too worried about what other people thought or about what I thought about myself. Internalized homophobia was definitely an issue. Yeah, and I found it really tough, if I'm honest. And I find it quite interesting now that I'm someone that speaks so openly about being gay. And I'm really pleased that I can do that. But if you had told me that when I was about 16, I would have thought, no way, that's not going to be me. And so I guess it was only after I came out that I really started being who I really am, my true self, in front of people. And I was really lucky that I had an enormously supportive group of friends. I was sort of bullied a bit at school, but more because I was showing off and trying to be somebody else. I think that it was sort of internalized homophobia where I didn't really know who to be. And I would say that now that I'm out on stage in such a big way, I think it's really, really telling the bullies that I did care once, but that I don't anymore. And I think that's the most important thing. I think overcoming those fears have been pretty big for me in making me feel that I am worthy of a career and of love and of support. And I think it's really important that other people feel like that too. And I think that I talk about my sexuality on stage because I want people who aren't from this community to understand my life and to understand that I'm not different to anybody else. You know, I just happen to have a female partner, but everything else is the same. Falling in love feels the same. My relationship with my parents is the same as what a straight person's might be. I think that that was the thing that I want people to hear more than anything else. And the thing that I needed to hear when I was a young person was that being gay hasn't changed who I am, because it is who I am. And I think now I really like that I'm a gay person. And I never would have thought I'd say that as a teenager. Never, ever, ever. I really hated that part of myself. But now I love that I'm gay. It's just part of who I am. And I've got to a stage where I really like me. Being yourself is the best thing to do. That's certainly something that I've learned from the podcast. I always ask my guests on the podcast, what advice would you give your teenage self? And most of them say something like, worry less. That one comes up all the time, worry less. And, embrace who you are. And I would also say, tell people about yourself when you're ready, whether it's because you're gay or there's something that you feel is different about you. Tell people when you're ready. Don't feel like you need to tell people the moment that you meet them, unless you want to, which is totally fine. But yeah, I think embrace who you are and do it at your own time and do it at your own pace, and trust that, you're exactly who you're meant to be. So just be that.
A massive thank you to Suzi, who is an absolute darling. We adore that lady so much. Annie, let me come to you, watching that back with what Suzi's just said. I mean, does any of that resonate with you?
Yeah, well, I didn't come out until I was 27, so I missed out on
What? I thought you were only
year.
12. Look how young you look. What moisturiser are you using?
I don't use moisturiser.
Oh, I
I'm not
officially
a
hate you. I thought it was going to be all love tonight, and I officially hate you now.
No, I'm 32. But
Same age as me, except I look haggard.
I came out when I was 27, 28, so I missed a load of years of goodness. And then see, since I came out, you cannot suppress me. You can, yeah. No.
That surprised me.
Yeah, I'm just me. I don't change for anybody, but yeah. I just always be yourself. And I wasn't thinking back on it whenever I was straight. I wasn't, my actual self. Like, I'm a lot more fun. I'm a lot more open. I'm, I don't know. I'm like a different person, and it's fantastic. It's like,
it's always going to take people time, whether they're 14, 15, 16, 17, 27. It doesn't matter what age it is, but eventually it might seem difficult. And I grew up with my mum and my nan and my older brother, and I knew that they'd be all right, but it still petrified the life out of me. And the sort of that gut feeling I think we've all had at some point, where you're about to do it. I didn't say anything. I just thought, I won't tell anyone forever and it'll be all right. And then you do it, and not everyone's stories are harmonious, but for you owe that to yourself. And there are people here like like Stonewall that we've seen earlier today that will be there to hold your hand and help you along the way. And so many people are watching this online. Thank you once again for all of your comments. Ben Wade has actually been in touch and said, I was made redundant from being cabin crew, but was made redundant due to COVID. So how can I feel more comfortable finding a job that I feel I'm suited to? Reese, have you got any advice for Ben?
First of all, I'd like to say I'm sorry about that, Ben. I can only begin to imagine what that must feel like. It may not seem it just now, but my advice that I offer to you is this time that we've all got just now, I would evaluate yourself, who you are, and also evaluate what you want out of life, career-wise. If cabin crew was the right thing for you, I'm not saying it's not, but if that's what you want to do, I'm sure the Princess Trust can certainly help you get the confidence to get back out there and find whatever jobs are available within that industry. If cabin crew is not right for you and you actually want to do something else with your life, then again, I would certainly be contacting the Princess Trust and other people as well to try and see what is available to you and what you can see yourself doing for a long time. We don't just work for 5 years, we work for a long time in our lives, so it needs to be something that is true to you, true to who you are as a person, but also something that that makes you happy in your life as well.
Absolutely, Reese. Thank you so much. Ben, I hope that you take that advice on board. And as I said, we're going to be emailing all you guys with any support that you need. Please get in touch because the trust can really help you out. And to prove that, I'm very thrilled to say that we are now going to be joined by Matty from the Prince's Trust. They're going to be joining us now. Hi, Matty. Go on the jazzy shirt.
I know. I made an effort.
I mean, just a minute silent for the shirt, may I just add? Absolutely. Matty is actually co-chair of Pulse, the Trust's internal LGBT plus network, which promotes inclusivity at the organisation. Matty, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Before we actually talk about the courses at the Prince's Trust, tell us a little bit more about what the Prince's Trust is doing to make it, I don't know, feel as inclusive as possible for young people in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rylan. Absolutely. Inclusivity is so important to the work that we do here at the Trust. It's absolutely vital that all young people feel included and welcome to take part in the fantastic programs that we run. And as you mentioned, I'm the co-chair of Pulse, which is our LGBT plus network. And our role is to help the Trust with understanding and meeting the challenges that young LGBT people are facing, and also to support our LGBT colleagues. So we heard a little bit from Ruby from Stonewall, who mentioned just the power of what networks can do. So I'm so proud to be leading this group. And first of all, around inclusivity, I think it really starts with being visible. And so when you visit one of our centres, when we can actually get back to being in person together.
What does that feel like?
I know, it's so long ago now, right? So, but when you can come see us in person, you might see some of our staff wearing some lovely Pulse lanyards that look a little bit like this. And although it's a little thing, it's something that's easy to identify so that you know that our colleagues are aware of the barriers that you may be facing and you know that we're here to help. I also mentioned that, even emails, many of our teams have it written really clearly in their signatures that they're proud supporters of the community. And we also like to highlight our pronouns as well. And, all of this takes really positive steps towards being visible and standing up for LGBT plus young people. And beyond that, there's some really exciting developments happening in regions around the UK. So in Greater Manchester, for example, we recently piloted a collaboration with a local LGBT youth group. And what was really brilliant about this is that it was built in tandem by the young people who took part, telling us exactly what they wanted support with in order to build their confidence. And so the result was a brilliant community arts project delivered through our Explore program. So all in all, there's some really exciting developments happening here at the Trust to make it as inclusive and welcoming for all LGBT young people.
I mean, it sounds like there is so much amazing work happening from you guys. We know we don't want to dwell too much on what's happening out there in the world, but it is a bit of a tough time at the moment. We feel like we've been in this same scenario for nearly a year now, which we have. For those that don't know what the Prince's Trust actually does, tell us a little bit more, Matty, about what's on offer and how they can help.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try and fit it in concisely, really, because there is just so much to get involved with at the Prince's Trust and loads to get excited about. I think that's something that we all really need at the minute, isn't it? And I know firsthand from working with many young people recently just how demotivating the recent situation has been. But I'm here to give you a great reminder that the Trust has the tools to help get you connecting with your confidence, learning new skills, and finding your way into a career. So I mentioned confidence just then, and this is a massive one. So, if you're feeling like your confidence is not recently, or you just need a bit of guidance with finding your feet and setting a direction, then you should definitely get involved with our range of courses to help give you that first step into work. And we'll help build your self-esteem, as well as giving you the tips and advice on your CV and interview skills. And maybe you're looking to learn something new and get started with some skills that will take you further. We run special programs to give you a taste of everything you can imagine, really, from vlogging to marketing, podcasting to game design. There's something here for absolutely everyone, and to teach you some amazing new skills that will take you one step further. And we can also help you find a job. This is so crucial for so many people right now, and our courses will give you that direct support to find work. We link up with organisations like the NHS, to help get your foot in the door, giving you that real world experience within the industries that you're passionate about. And not only that, but if you're a budding entrepreneur like Annie and interested in starting your own business, then we have the perfect course for you. On our enterprise course, you can apply for funding to get your big idea off the ground, in addition to being matched with a business mentor who can give you advice on everything involved in running your business, from taxes to marketing. And that's really just a snapshot of the courses that are available. And currently, they're all online for you to take part in from the comfort of your own home, nice and safe too. You can visit our website for the full look at what's going on in your area, and even have a chat with one of our youth support workers about whatever you're going through right now. And ultimately, we're here to help you. So give it a try and surprise yourself with what you'll achieve.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for sharing that information. As I said, we're going to be emailing people with all of this information. Well, Matty, you will be over the next few days. As Matty said as well, please go to the Prince's Trust website, which is princestrust.org.uk. If you want to speak to someone, just simply fill out a form. If you don't want to speak, over the phone, things like that. There's so many different ways we can do this. Matty, I'm very conscious, obviously, that we're running a bit low on time, but a question did just come in actually from Joseph Gregson, and I hope you don't mind if I asked you this. Joseph says, any advice on what to do if work colleagues and bosses refuse to use the correct pronouns?
That is a really difficult situation, and I think that when you're part of the community, you want to feel empowered, and I think that you really as well just want to feel validated. And pronouns is a really, really simple thing that everybody can do to make you feel validated in your everyday life and living your gender. So I think, just to really borrow on what Jay said, is about having your network around you, and you can get advice from all sorts of people to really make sure that you're getting the support that you need if you're not getting it from your workplace. I would always say as well that the Prince's Trust is here to help you bridge difficult conversations. So if you're experiencing any issues like that where you're in employment, just let us know and see how we can help you take that conversation further. Because ultimately, you deserve to be treated with respect. That's
Absolutely.
the biggest takeaway.
Absolutely. I'm just having a little look through the comments now. Matty, I don't know if we're going to know this just yet. I hope I say your name right. Blodwin Jones says, will the online courses continue post-COVID for those that are not near a centre? Are there any plans to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the future, I think, is really exciting because we're going to have a real blended approach with the way that we do programs. So there'll be plenty of our in-centre stuff for you to get involved with for those that love that kind of interaction. But we know as well that many of us are based rurally. I'm out in the middle of nowhere myself, so I know what it's like not being able to get into that centre. So absolutely, we're going to keep running a blended approach with online delivery, so you can get involved wherever you are on whatever device as well. We just want to make it super accessible for you.
Amazing. And Blodwin's just got back in touch and says, yes, that is how you say my name. Thank you. So I'm very thrilled at that. Very, very thrilled at that. So many of you are getting in touch. I wish we could get all through all of your questions, but unfortunately we can't, because we are running out of time. I think it was Ellie actually just says, I've tried to fill out the form on the website. It says that there's a small error. I actually think it's the volume of people that are actually visiting the website at the moment, which obviously isn't ideal that it's not going through. But Ellie, try again in about 5 or 10 minutes. We're all our little people are on that at the moment, like waiting for it to actually happen. But it's lovely to see so many of you are getting involved. Matty, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I think it's so interesting, because growing up myself, I've obviously known of the Prince's Trust and that there's some amazing charities out there that help people, but I just never really knew how or what. And I didn't realize, after speaking to the four of you, just how simple it is to just get that little bit of help, whether it's a help in finding a job, whether it's, no girl, you can be the boss and you be the boss of that business, whatever it is. I didn't realize how lovely it's been. So thank you so much. Charlotte says hi, I can see, has just put, this has been brilliant. Charlie, I'm so glad you've enjoyed watching. We hope you guys all watching feel informed and inspired, I suppose, to take that next step. I think I do as well. I might have a career change. Annie, I might come and work for you. I like a bit of baking. Yeah, should we do that? We'll do that. I've got very good icing skills. I was robbed on Bake Off, let me tell you. Robbed. Absolutely robbed.
Robbed on MasterChef too.
I was robbed on MasterChef. Thank you, People's Champion. That's all I'll say. But we love Kimberly Wyatt. She's a pussycat doll. What can I say? We've heard some brilliant stories from the guys today, really inspiring stories. Our panel have explained how they received help from the Prince's Trust and their experiences of diversity in the workplace. It was so lovely that Stonewall got involved this evening. A massive thank you to Ruby. Talk through how to find an inclusive employer, look at the events that they hold, check their social media, because Stonewall are another great charity for our community as well. LinkedIn, thank you to Connor, recommended always asking questions in interviews and bringing up how you could add value to a company's diversity and inclusion plans, because as Connor said, over the past few years, diversity, a lot more businesses are clocking on and they're sitting there going, no, we should be doing this. We should be doing this. And the lovely Suzi Ruffell, she spoke about embracing who you are and worrying less. Suzi, there's not much I can say to you. Just thank you so much for sharing your experience, babe. We really, really appreciate it. And we're so thrilled that you could be part of this evening. I want to say thank you to everyone watching. There were so many comments coming through. We've got people moderating this. Please get in touch with us. If we didn't get to your comment this evening and you still want answers, please get in touch with the trust. All of the details will be emailed out to you. But as I said, head to the website, head to our socials as well, at Prince's Trust. That is manned all the time. So we'll be able to see your comments and give you advice, and maybe slide into your DMs to give you a bit of advice if we can. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone on the panel this evening. A massive thank you to Matty, to Jay, to Annie, and to Reese. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing your experiences. It has been a real pleasure speaking to you this evening. Stay in touch, and fingers crossed, once this is all over, we can all pop down Annie's for a couple of cakes and
Yeah.
she's a shrewd businesswoman, so maybe just 10% mates rate. No, see, she won't confirm nor deny the 10% discount. See, she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. Everyone watching, remember, we are about to come off air now, but this isn't the end of your journey with the Prince's Trust. As Matty said, the Trust will be emailing you all in the days ahead with information on how to get in touch. If you can't wait for the email, log on to the socials and website, and we'll be waiting for you there. Thank you for having me this evening. It has been the biggest pleasure sharing this past hour with you. Once again, thank you to the panel. And whoever you are, whatever you're doing, wherever you joined tonight, thank you. Sending you love. Stay safe, stay well, and for goodness sake, keep washing those hands. We'll see you soon once more for one of these. Take care.